The supine is the newest of the five temperaments. It was originally sort of part of the phlegmatic temperament. When people saw how calm the phlegmatic was, they decided to make it a neutral temperament, and the more needy characteristics were organized into the new supine temperament. Now, the supine is the opposite of the choleric temperament. Like the melancholy, the supine is an introvert, but it's sometimes considered a mix of the melancholy and sanguine temperament, because while they usually hide their feelings, they are still very friendly to people. However, basically, they are very extroverted, as they never really express their feelings. Even though they want to, they sort of expect people to automatically understand exactly how they feel. Well, some supines have actually described this being of this temperament as to be like having tape over their mouths. So they have a high need for expression, but a very low capability of it. The difference between this and the melancholy temperament, which we'll be reviewing later, is that the melancholy usually does not want to express their emotions. And so that's how the two introverts are somewhat different. Now, the supine, their biggest weakness is that they tend to consider themselves to be worthless. They have a very low self-esteem, extremely low. They tend to avoid responsibility this way. They doubt that they will be up to it. So they usually don't have a problem with being unnoticed. They're very content to serve. They are the servants of the temperaments. They are very loyal, very loyal. They will serve anyone faithfully, though they tend to be trodden over as this happens. Strengths, however, include the fact that they are very accepting of people. They consider really everyone to be superior to themselves, so of course they will not have much of a problem with this. They are usually quite optimistic. They're very thoughtful, very slow-paced, which can help, except for the fact that they usually tend to avoid responsibility, and thus don't have much of a chance to use their slow cautious approach to some problems. The supines, they will be friends for life. They'll never leave your side. So it's very loyal, like the sanguine, but while the sanguine can be more irresponsible, the supines, that's the way supines are not like the sanguines. And they are responsible to relationships. It's the other relationship-oriented temperament, like the sanguine. And so when it comes to people, the supine is actually very competent, usually very sensitive to other people's feelings, very sensitive to their own as well, but they're very empathetic. So in jobs they will have, they will choose professions where they can help people. So they will be counselors, they'll be therapists, they may be teachers, even though this probably wouldn't work out well, as they won't do such a good job of controlling their classroom. And so yes, in a nutshell, the supine is empathetic but very self-loathing. So this usually gets on the nerves of the other temperaments, mostly the choleric and the melancholy, and to some extent the phlegmatic. The choleric despises the self-loathing nature of the supine, and the melancholy likewise has very little respect for this, and so does the phlegmatic. The sanguine, however, sanguines will probably get along with supines, as like we discussed in the last video. They can basically get along with anyone. Well, I hope that this video was enjoyable. I hope that you've learned something. In the next video, we will be studying the melancholy temperament, the other introverted temperament. Goodbye.